I don't know how to say the right things. So I'm just going to speak from my heart. We had a mass shooting in Nashville earlier this week. And I want to talk about it. I want to talk about how I'm processing the emotions. And I want to share with you what I think is kind of the immediate thing that I can do. I'm going to speak from my perspective. Before we get into this episode, I want to ask your permission, first of all. I want to ask your permission for you to allow me to be human. And what I mean by that is, I want to be able to share with you openly my heart, some of my thoughts, my views, and even though you might disagree with some of the things I say, it's possible. And my ask is that even though that might be the case, I'm asking for permission ahead of time for you to even just welcome the words. Does that make sense? Because if you're not going to give me permission to be human, then stop this episode. Because it's a topic that I think is, unfortunately, very conflicting for people. And it's become this political thing. And I just want to have a conversation. Unfortunately, it's one-sided. I can't see you or hear your thoughts or give you an opportunity to even share with me, but I'm asking for your permission for me just to speak as a human and potentially say something that doesn't come out 100% right. Okay, so let's jump in. I know mass shootings are nothing new. I'm not even going to pretend to be this expert in all of these things. All I can say is I was meeting with a client, and she notified me that there was this mass shooting on Monday. And it hit me so hard, and it shocked me because I know why, right? It's here in Nashville. It's mere miles from my home. It's something that could happen to my children in their home, in their school. And you had a young 28-year-old shoot their way into an elementary school, kill 3 children, I think roughly nine years of age, and 2 adults. And then was also killed in the process by the police. So we have 6 lives that were lost. And it really hit me. It really hit me. And so I've been processing with friends over the past few days, and I'll continue to process because the fixer in me wants to, I want to figure out what is the solution? Which brings you kind of down to, there's kind of these 2 black or white viewpoints. And I'm not even going to attempt to talk about the solution when it comes to these, right? There's kind of there's one side, and these are the extremes that I'm mentioning right now. There's one side that's saying, of course, massive gun control. There's no reason that it should be so easy for Americans to get these semi-automatic assault rifles. And the other side that is for pro guns, really. The right to own a gun, saying, it's different, right? It's mental health, and I'll tell you what, no one's going to agree on either of those major things. That's just not going to happen. I don't see that happening in the near future. But as I go through and process this myself, what I'm realizing is what's not going to solve this because I do think we have a problem. America has this problem, and it's so much bigger than just this one incident or even just mass shootings in general. We have a problem where it's becoming black or white, right or wrong. We are no longer open to hearing someone else's viewpoint. They're immediately canceled if they don't fall in line with my beliefs. And my heart hurts. It hurts. I'm scared for my children and myself because now it's like I'm getting just a glimpse of what other communities have dealt with in the wake of these tragic experiences. I'm just getting a glimpse of it. But the fact that it's so possible scares me. It makes me angry. I feel bad for every single family impacted by it. The shooter's family, the adults we lost, the children we lost. It crushes me to think about the heartache all of those families are dealing with. And so as I try to fix it, here's what I've come to. Like, this is the immediate thing. What's not going to fix this is division, hate, anger, pointing fingers. That's not what's going to fix it. It never has. I was sharing with a friend of mine, my workout buddy, that I was like, hey, are we gathering as a community? And he mentioned that parents and children were going to the Capitol to bring awareness to stricter gun control laws. And he said at the same time, there's this alt-right wing group where kind of the figurehead of that movement is actively has an agenda to go to the Capitol that same day. This is at least at the time what we were talking about. I don't know if this is in fact happening, but was going to the Capitol that same day to advocate for, I guess, against LGBTQ rights. You've got two groups that are potentially vastly different in their beliefs converging in one spot. My initial reaction is to step away, right? There's conflict there. But then the other side of me says, no. This is an opportunity. What I can do right now is not even just be a voice in the community for what I believe to be true, but I can be a voice of love and reason. I can stand there with someone who has a different view than I do and still say, you know what, I feel the anger that you feel. I'm scared like you. And even though I disagree with your views, I see the human in you. And I stand with that human. You know what I mean? I will say I'm having a hard time coming up with the words to articulate what I really feel in my heart. And it just keeps coming back to this. We cannot keep dividing ourselves. That doesn't mean that I have to agree with what someone says. That doesn't mean that I'm going to vote the same way someone else will vote. But what I can do actively in my community right now is accept every human. Because what I'll tell you what, I won't even attempt to argue, because I think you can argue both sides till you're blue in the face. I won't attempt to argue what solution would have prevented this shooter from becoming so angry and miserable with their life that they chose to take the lives of not only innocent, but young, innocent lives, and of course these adults. I won't argue what solution, whether stricter gun laws or more mental health or, more law enforcement at our schools to prevent it. I won't even pretend to argue that. The only answer that I can tell you was if that shooter had been loved, listened to, supported, accepted, I guarantee they would not have had the lack of emotional intelligence to then commit this atrocious act. Guarantee. You can't argue the opposite, right? I know if that human was loved, they wouldn't have reached that point of anger. It just wouldn't have happened. So that's why I'm sitting here now. And my sincere hope is that I'm not saying something that's pushing you off. If you're angry, you're welcome to be angry. You're welcome to deal with the emotions that you've got around, not only if you're listening to this and you live in Nashville and this has impacted you, but if you're in any part of this world and you've been impacted and have strong views about guns in the United States and mass shootings and the cause of those things and how to solve those, you're welcome to those opinions. But what I'm asking right now is, can you, because I'm asking this of myself, can I, in our communities, find ways to not divide ourselves, find ways to accept another human for what they are? They're a human. So I'm literally, this is my work. It's like how can I today be present for another human in my community, despite what their views are? How can I be present with them? Is it a homeless person? Is it a checker at my grocery store who just seems so miserable? I'll tell you, this is kind of the last thing that I'll share with you. And again, I will readily admit that I don't know all the history and I don't know all the details. But a friend of mine, his name is Jeremy Cowart. He's an amazing photographer, artist, painter, entrepreneur. He has consistently throughout his life been present with his camera for humanitarian moments. And one of the ones that I can think of is he went at least once, maybe twice, to Rwanda after the genocide. And you see these photos of just these atrocious acts that happen, and you hear the stories. And what Jeremy did is he went and he actually photographed the people that committed the atrocity and the people that were impacted by it together. Because Rwanda did, and this is why I'm like, why? I'll share what they did. What they did was, after the atrocities were committed, there were the people that committed the murders, this mass genocide. They were subject to court and were imprisoned appropriately. But from my understanding, as they came out of, because they weren't in prison for life, not all of them. So as they came out of their prison sentence, instead of being canceled or secluded from the community, they actually took proactive action in inserting them into the community. So in these photos that Jeremy's taken, you literally have, standing in the same photo, who are now neighbors yet again, a man who killed this other man's family. And somehow there's a level of forgiveness that is active in this community. Not even just between these two humans, but in the community. Within that village, there are people that have committed horrible atrocities living right next to the people that they committed them to. And so my brain was thinking this morning as I walked was, if they're able to do that after mass genocide, why can't we do that before it even gets to that place? And by the way, I am not at all bringing down the fact that we have lost thousands, tens of thousands of lives due to gun violence in this country. More than any other country. It's a big deal. But instead of dividing ourselves, how can we come together? Even if we have differing views. That feels like a complete thought. Yeah. I want you to know, as you're listening to this and watching this, that you are loved, valued, who you are in this world matters. You're enough. You're entitled to your views and your opinions. And I accept you even if I don't understand or agree with what you have to say. Because chances are, your differing views are not going to hurt me. Even though I might be afraid or not understand them or completely disagree. And I know that statement, I know that might be heated. But as a human speaking to another human right now, I see you, I appreciate you, and I value you. May you find a moment in your day-to-day where you can close your eyes, feel that love, and then in return, give it to someone else. We are not going to solve our problems with more division. I know that. Take care.